Red lights flashed across every screen in the research station. Alex Carter dropped his sandwich and rushed to his computer terminal. The emergency message made his stomach sink. Void dragons had invaded the food-growing sections again. Alex knew what this meant. Every spacefaring race in the galaxy hated these tiny creatures. They called them the worst pest in space. The little dragons were only 6 inches long, but they could destroy entire ships if left alone. They ate metal, electronics, and plants with equal hunger. Worse yet, they bred faster than rabbits. The station commander's voice boomed through the speakers. All personnel report to emergency stations. We have a major infestation in agricultural bays 7 through 12. Extermination teams are being deployed immediately. Alex grabbed his equipment bag and hurried toward the affected areas. As the station's only xenobiologist, he needed to document the invasion for his report to Earth Command. This was the 3rd attack this month. The creatures seemed to appear from nowhere, cause massive damage, then vanish just as quickly. When Alex reached Bay 7, he found chaos. Maintenance crews ran everywhere with plasma torches and chemical sprayers. The smell of burning metal filled the air. Sparks flew from damaged electrical systems. Half the hydroponic gardens lay in ruins. They came through the ventilation system again, shouted Engineer Peterson over the noise. Must be hundreds of them this time. Never seen an infestation this bad. Alex pulled out his scanner and began recording the damage. The void dragons had indeed been busy. Chunks of hull plating lay scattered on the floor, edges smooth as if dissolved by acid. Computer panels hung open, their circuits completely gone. Even the irrigation pipes had holes eaten through them, but something felt wrong. Alex had studied dozens of pest species during his career. Random destruction usually followed certain patterns. Animals ate what they needed for survival, then moved on. They didn't typically destroy everything in sight just for fun. He knelt beside a damaged wall panel and examined it closely. The metal hadn't been chewed or torn. Instead, it looked like it had been carefully cut with surgical precision. The edges were too clean, too purposeful. "Dr. Carter, get back." A security guard waved his weapon toward a dark corner. "I think I see movement over there." Alex looked where the guard pointed. A tiny golden shape darted between some fallen pipes. Unlike the other void dragons he'd seen in photographs, this one seemed smaller. Its scales caught the emergency lighting and sparkled like tiny jewels. The guard raised his plasma rifle. "Hold still, you little monster." "Wait," Alex called out. "Don't shoot yet. I need to observe its behavior for my report." The security guard hesitated. "Sir, my orders are to eliminate all hostile creatures on site. Just give me 30 seconds to record some data," Alex pleaded. "Earth Command needs proper documentation of their attack patterns." Reluctantly, the guard lowered his weapon but kept it ready. Alex activated his portable scanner and slowly approached the corner where the creature hid. The tiny dragon wasn't attacking anything. Instead, it sat perfectly still, watching him with large silver eyes. When Alex took another step closer, the creature made a soft chirping sound, not aggressive or threatening, but almost curious. Alex had never heard that sound described in any of the reports about void dragons. Every account he'd read described them as silent killers that attacked without warning. This little one seemed more like a lost pet than a dangerous predator. "Fascinating," Alex whispered into his recorder. "Subject appears to be exhibiting non-aggressive behavior. Vocalizations suggest possible communication attempt." The dragon tilted its tiny head to one side, as if trying to understand his words. Alex noticed something else unusual. While the other areas of the bay showed random destruction, the space around this creature looked almost organized. Damaged components had been sorted into neat piles. Broken wires were bundled together. "Dr. Carter," the security guard's voice carried a note of panic. "We need to evacuate this section. The extermination team is about to flood the area with poison gas." Alex looked back at the tiny dragon. Something deep in his gut told him this was important. These creatures weren't just mindless pests. There was intelligence behind those silver eyes. Purpose in their actions. Without thinking, Alex reached into his equipment bag and pulled out an empty specimen container. "I'm sorry, little one," he whispered, "but this is for your own safety." The dragon didn't resist when Alex gently scooped it up. It settled into the container and continued making those soft chirping sounds. Alex sealed the lid, making sure the air holes provided enough ventilation. "Got it," he called to the security guard. "One specimen secured for analysis." The guard nodded approvingly. "Good work, Doc. The lab boys will want to study that thing before we space it. Alex said nothing. He had no intention of letting anyone harm this creature. Something told him it held answers to questions nobody was asking yet. As they evacuated the agricultural bay, Alex felt the container vibrate slightly in his hands. The dragon was making more sounds, but these seemed different, almost like it was trying to tell him something important. Back in his private laboratory, Alex set up a temporary habitat for his unexpected guest. He'd studied enough alien species to know the basics of containment. Clean environment, proper temperature, fresh water, and some basic food options. The dragon emerged from the container cautiously. It explored every inch of its new home with obvious intelligence. When Alex offered it some nutrient paste, the creature sniffed it carefully before taking a small taste. After determining it was safe, it ate with delicate precision. "What are you really?" Alex asked aloud. "And why is everyone so afraid of you?" The dragon looked up at him and made that chirping sound again. This time Alex's equipment detected something interesting. The creature was generating small electromagnetic pulses along with its vocalizations, almost like it was trying to communicate on multiple levels at once. Alex checked his security monitors. The extermination teams had finished their work in the agricultural bays. Official reports would say they'd eliminated all the void dragons. Nobody would miss one small specimen that was supposedly being studied before disposal. He looked down at the tiny creature, who had curled up in a corner of its habitat and was watching him with those intelligent silver eyes. Alex had made his decision. Instead of studying this dragon as a pest to be eliminated, he would try to understand it as a possibly intelligent being. "I'm going to call you Pip," he said softly, "and I promise you nobody is going to hurt you while you're under my protection." Pip chirped once, almost as if in agreement. Then it closed its eyes and settled down to rest. Alex had no idea that this simple act of kindness was about to change the fate of humanity and the entire galaxy forever. 3 weeks passed since Alex started his secret research. Every morning he brought fresh food to Pip and spent hours observing the tiny dragon's behavior. The more he watched, the more convinced he became that everyone had gotten it wrong about these creatures. Pip wasn't destructive at all. When Alex gave it broken electronic components to examine, the dragon would carefully take them apart with its tiny claws. But instead of destroying them, Pip would rearrange the pieces in patterns that made no sense to Alex at first. Today felt different, though. Alex had left a damaged datapad in Pip's habitat overnight. When he returned, he found something that made him gasp in surprise. The datapad was working again. Not just working, but functioning better than it ever had before. Alex picked up the device with trembling hands. The screen was brighter and more responsive. The battery indicator showed full power even though it had been nearly dead before. Most shocking of all, the datapad now had processing capabilities far beyond its original specifications. "How did you do this?" Alex whispered to Pip. The little dragon chirped and pointed one tiny claw at the underside of the datapad. Alex flipped it over and saw something that made his knees weak. Where the device's circuits should have been, he found a mixture of original electronics and what looked like living tissue. Thin organic fibers had grown throughout the system, connecting components in ways that shouldn't have been possible. Alex ran every scan he could think of. The organic additions weren't parasitic or harmful. Instead, they seemed to be enhancing the device's capabilities while repairing damage that human technology couldn't fix. The bioelectronic hybrid was unlike anything in human science. That afternoon, Alex decided to try something bold. He sat in front of Pip's habitat and activated his personal translator device. The machine was designed to help humans communicate with other known alien species. But Alex wondered if it might work with void dragons too. "Can you understand me?" Alex asked slowly. Pip tilted its head and made several chirping sounds. The translator remained silent for a moment, then began displaying partial word fragments on its screen. Most were incomplete, but Alex caught a few that made his heart race. Help. Fix. Broken. Lonely. Alex nearly dropped the translator. "You can understand me, can't you?" This time Pip's response came through much clearer. "Yes, understand." "You different." Not hurt Pip. The breakthrough moment had arrived. Alex was talking to a void dragon and it was talking back. He felt like an explorer discovering a new continent. Over the following hours, Alex learned that Pip's species had a complex electromagnetic communication system. They could transmit thoughts and images directly to each other using bioelectric pulses. The translator was only catching fragments because human technology wasn't advanced enough to process their full language. "Why do your people take apart our machines?" Alex asked. Pip's answer came slowly, mixed with frustration at the language barrier. "Not take apart. Fix better. Make strong. But other beings always attack. Never listen." Alex felt a chill run down his spine. "You've been trying to help us? All this time?" "Yes. See broken things. Make better. But all beings think Pip people bad. Try kill us. We only want help." The reality of the situation hit Alex like a physical blow. Humanity, along with every other spacefaring species, had been systematically exterminating a race of beings that were trying to help them. The Void Dragons weren't pests or invaders. They were interstellar mechanics with biotechnology far beyond anything humans had ever imagined. Alex spent the rest of the week learning everything he could from Pip. The little dragon showed him memory images through the translator's enhanced interface. Alex saw vast space cities where void dragons and other species lived together in harmony. He watched dragon biotechnology heal damaged worlds and enhance struggling civilizations. But he also saw the darker memories, species after species turning on the dragons when they didn't understand their intentions. Entire dragon colonies wiped out by fearful governments. Pip's own family scattered or killed when they tried to help a failing space station 3 years ago. "We are last of our colony," Pip explained sadly, others dead or hiding. "We came to your station because we sense much broken technology. Want to help humans before humans kill us too." Alex's hands shook as he processed this information. The void dragons living in their station weren't an infestation. They were refugees trying to perform one last act of service before they expected to die. "I won't let anyone hurt you," Alex promised, "but I need to show others that you're trying to help us." Pip's eyes brightened with hope. "You believe Pip? You tell other humans?" "I'll try," Alex said, "but I need proof they can't ignore." Pip chirped excitedly and pointed toward Alex's laboratory equipment. "Pip fix? Show humans Dragon Way?" Alex looked around his lab. Half his equipment was outdated or malfunctioning. The research station's technology budget never covered proper maintenance. If Pip could enhance his equipment the way it had fixed his datapad, that would be proof no one could deny. "Okay," Alex agreed, "but we have to be careful. If security finds out what you're doing, they might panic." Pip nodded solemnly. "Pip, understand. We'll be secret. You protect Pip. Pip protect human tools." Over the next few days, Alex watched in amazement as Pip systematically upgraded every piece of equipment in the laboratory. The dragon worked mostly at night when fewer people were around. It would extend tiny bioelectric tendrils from its body and interface directly with electronic systems. The results were nothing short of miraculous. Alex's ancient microscope could now see individual atoms. His computer processed complex calculations in seconds instead of hours. Even the coffee maker brewed better coffee, somehow optimizing the temperature and brewing time for perfect results every time. But the most impressive change was in Alex himself. Pip had asked to examine the translator device more closely. When Alex agreed, the dragon had interfaced with it directly. Suddenly, Alex could understand Pip's thoughts almost as clearly as spoken words. The communication barrier between them dissolved. "This is incredible," Alex said during one of their late-night conversations. "Your people could revolutionize human technology." "Not just human technology," Pip replied through their new mental link. "All technology." Dragons help many species grow strong, but always the species choose fear instead of friendship. Alex felt the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. He was probably the only human who knew the truth about void dragons. The question was whether he could convince his own species to overcome their fear and embrace something that could change everything. "There's something else you should know," Pip added quietly. "The other dragons in your station. They are waiting. Waiting for what? Waiting to see if humans different. If Alex shows dragons are friends, maybe humans first species to choose partnership instead of war." Alex stared at his small companion and realized that the future of human-dragon relations rested entirely in his hands. No pressure at all. Alex's secret couldn't last forever. Dr. Lily Ross discovered it on a Tuesday morning when she came to borrow some equipment from his lab. Alex had forgotten to hide Pip's habitat behind the storage containers like he usually did. Lily stood frozen in the doorway, staring at the tiny dragon who was casually upgrading Alex's spectrometer. Pip looked up at her with curious silver eyes and made a friendly chirping sound. "Alex," Lily said very slowly, "there is a void dragon in your laboratory." "I can explain," Alex began, but Lily was already backing toward the door. "You're harboring a galactic pest. Do you know what Commander Brooks will do when he finds out? You'll be court-martialed and sent back to Earth in chains." Alex moved between Lily and the exit. "Please, just give me 5 minutes to show you something. If you still want to report me after that, I won't stop you." Lily hesitated. She and Alex had worked together for 2 years, and she trusted his scientific judgment. Against her better instincts, she stayed. "This is Pip," Alex said, gesturing toward the dragon, "and everything we've been told about void dragons is wrong." For the next hour, Alex demonstrated everything he'd learned. He showed Lily the enhanced equipment, played recordings of his conversations with Pip, and explained the dragon's true purpose. Lily's expression changed from fear to amazement to complete fascination. "You're telling me they're trying to help us?" Lily asked, examining her own handheld scanner that Pip had upgraded while they talked. "Not just help," Alex replied. "They're offering us a partnership that could advance human technology by centuries." Lily was the station's chief engineer. She understood technology better than anyone else on board. When she saw what Pip could do, she immediately grasped the implications. "This bioelectronic integration," she said, studying the scanner's new organic components under a magnifying glass. "It's like the machine evolved overnight. The efficiency improvements alone would revolutionize space travel." Pip chirped happily and projected a small hologram from its bioelectric organs. The image showed a human spaceship enhanced with dragon biotechnology. The vessel could repair itself, adapt to new threats, and travel at speeds impossible with current human engines. "My people want to show humans many things," Pip explained through the mental link Alex had established. "But first, humans must choose not to be afraid." Lily sat down heavily in a nearby chair. "This changes everything, doesn't it? We're not just dealing with pest control anymore. We're looking at first contact with a species that could transform our entire civilization." "Exactly," Alex agreed. "But there's a problem. Commander Brooks has already decided that void dragons are a threat. He's planning a major extermination campaign for next week." "We have to stop him," Lily said immediately. "If we wipe out the dragons, we lose this opportunity forever." "It's worse than that," Alex replied grimly. "Pip says there are other dragon colonies hidden throughout the galaxy. They're all waiting to see how humans respond to first contact. If we choose extermination, they'll disappear forever. No species will ever get another chance at this partnership." Lily understood the stakes. As an engineer, she'd spent her entire career dreaming of the technological advances they were being offered. As a human being, she couldn't stand the thought of her species making such a catastrophic mistake. "What do you need me to do?" she asked. Working together, Alex and Lily developed a plan. They would use the station's quantum computer network to create a proper translation protocol for dragon communication. Once they could talk to all the dragons hiding in the station, they would gather enough proof to convince even the most skeptical humans. The work took 3 intense days. Lily's engineering expertise combined with Alex's biological knowledge and Pip's understanding of dragon biotechnology created something unprecedented. They built a communication bridge between human and dragon minds. When they activated the system, Alex and Lily suddenly found themselves connected to a network of dragon consciousness that had been operating silently throughout the station. Dozens of tiny minds touched theirs, each one expressing hope, loneliness, and a desperate desire to help. The dragons showed them visions of what they'd been trying to accomplish. In the agricultural base, they hadn't been destroying crops. They'd been enhancing the soil with bionutrients that would triple food production. In the engineering sections, they'd been upgrading life support systems to run more efficiently and with better safety margins. Every act of supposed vandalism was actually an attempt at improvement. The dragons had been working tirelessly to help humans, even though they expected to be killed for their efforts. "This is incredible," Lily whispered, tears streaming down her face. "They've been giving us gifts and we've been trying to exterminate them. But their secret research attracted unwanted attention. General Brooks, the station's military commander, had been monitoring Alex's unusual equipment requisitions. When security sensors detected unauthorized biotechnology signatures in Alex's lab, Brooks decided to investigate personally. The general burst into the laboratory with a full security team just as Alex and Lily were testing their latest communication improvements. Brooks took one look at Pip and the bio-enhanced equipment and his face turned purple with rage. "You're both under arrest for harboring hostile alien life forms," Brooks shouted. "And that thing is going into the incinerator immediately." "General, please listen to us," Alex pleaded. "These creatures aren't hostile. They're trying to help humanity. I don't want to hear your excuses, Dr. Carter. Void dragons are classified as a galactic threat by every spacefaring species in known space. Your emotional attachment to this specimen has clearly compromised your judgment." Lily stepped forward with her hands raised. "Sir, as chief engineer, I can verify that this organism has enhanced our equipment beyond anything in current human technology. We're looking at advances that could benefit all of humanity. You're both suffering from some kind of alien influence," Brooks declared. "Security, destroy that creature and quarantine these two until we can determine the extent of their contamination." The security guards raised their weapons toward Pip's habitat. Alex moved to block them, but he knew it was hopeless. Brooks had the authority to override any scientific concerns with military necessity. Then something unexpected happened. Every electronic device in the laboratory began flickering in unison. The lights pulsed with a rhythm that felt almost like a heartbeat. The station's communication system activated itself and began broadcasting in languages no human had ever heard. Through their mental link, Alex felt the presence of every dragon in the station. They were no longer hiding. Faced with the threat to their youngest member, the entire dragon colony was revealing itself. "What's happening?" Brooks demanded as alarms began sounding throughout the station. Pip looked at Alex with sad silver eyes. "Dragons must choose now. Hide and live or help humans and maybe die." Pip chooses help. The tiny dragon began to glow with bioelectric energy. Through the station's enhanced systems, it projected a message that reached every human on board, not in words but in pure emotion and meaning that transcended language barriers. For the first time in galactic history, dragons were making a formal first contact with another species. They were offering humanity a choice: partnership and growth, or fear and isolation. Alex watched Brooks's face as the message reached him. The general's expression changed from anger to confusion to something approaching wonder. Every human on the station was feeling what Alex had felt when he first truly understood Pip's intentions. The dragons weren't invaders or pests. They were teachers, healers, and friends who had been waiting their entire lives for someone to simply say hello. "General," Alex said quietly, "I think we need to reconsider our options." The massive warships appeared without warning. Alex was in his laboratory working with Pip when every alarm on the station began screaming at once. Through the viewport, he could see the sleek alien vessels emerging from hyperspace, like predators surrounding wounded prey. Commander Brooks's voice echoed through the station's speakers, tense with barely controlled panic. "All personnel to emergency stations. We have 12 unknown vessels requesting immediate communication. They are not responding to standard greeting protocols." Alex felt Pip tremble in his hands. The little dragon's silver eyes were wide with terror. Through their mental link, Alex sensed waves of fear from every dragon hidden throughout the station. "Pip, what's wrong?" Alex asked urgently. "Do you recognize those ships?" "Hegemony Coalition," Pip whispered, the words carrying a weight of ancient dread. "They hunt dragons. They kill dragons. They come to cleanse this place." Lily rushed into the laboratory, her face pale. "Alex, we've got a problem. Those ships belong to the Galactic Hegemony Coalition. They're demanding we surrender all void dragons immediately or face immediate destruction." Alex's stomach dropped. He'd heard of the Coalition during his xenobiology training. They were the closest thing the galaxy had to a unified government, controlling trade routes and maintaining order among dozens of species. If they were here, it meant humanity's secret was out. The main communication screen in Alex's lab flickered to life. A tall, gray-skinned alien with 4 arms and cold black eyes appeared on the display. When it spoke, its voice carried the authority of absolute power. "Human settlement, you have been detected harboring void dragons in violation of Galactic Sanitation Code 77 Alpha. This infestation must be eliminated immediately to prevent spread to other systems." Commander Brooks appeared on a split screen, trying to maintain diplomatic composure. "This is Commander Brooks of Research Station Harmony. We were not aware these creatures were under galactic jurisdiction. We are prepared to cooperate with proper authorities. Cooperation is simple, the Coalition representative replied. Surrender all void dragons for immediate disposal. Any humans who have been in contact with the creatures will be quarantined for decontamination. Failure to comply will result in the sterilization of your entire facility. Alex felt Pip's terror spike through their connection. The little dragon was projecting images of other worlds, other species that had faced this same ultimatum. In every case, the Coalition's decontamination meant total destruction of anyone who had worked with dragons. They lie, Pip whispered desperately. Dragons not disease. Dragons not danger. But Coalition fear what dragons can do. What do you mean? Alex asked silently through their mental link. Instead of answering with words, Pip shared a vision that made Alex's mind reel. He saw the galaxy as the dragons knew it thousands of years ago. Countless species working together. Their technologies enhanced by dragon biotechnology. Worlds that healed themselves. Ships that evolved to meet new challenges. Civilizations that grew stronger through cooperation. Then came the Coalition. Not as healers or teachers, but as conquerors who realized that dragon-enhanced societies were impossible to control. They couldn't dominate species that could rapidly adapt and improve their own technologies, so they declared war on the dragons themselves, branding them as a galactic plague. The Coalition maintains power by keeping other species weak and dependent. Alex realized with growing horror. Dragons make that impossible. Through the station's enhanced communication systems, he felt the presence of every dragon colony hidden throughout the galaxy. They had been waiting for this moment for centuries, not for rescue, but for a species brave enough to stand with them against the Coalition's lies. Alex, Lily said urgently. Brooks is actually considering handing them over. He thinks cooperation with the Coalition is humanity's best chance for galactic acceptance. Alex watched the negotiations on his screen with growing despair. The Coalition representative was offering humanity membership in their organization, access to established trade routes, and protection from hostile species. All they wanted in return was the complete extermination of every dragon on the station. To most humans, it would seem like an obvious choice. Join galactic civilization or protect a handful of creatures that the galaxy's most powerful organization considered dangerous pests. But Alex knew better now. He understood what humanity would be giving up, not just the dragons themselves, but the chance to become something greater than any species in Coalition space. The opportunity to grow beyond the artificial limitations that kept the galaxy stagnant and divided. Through Pip, Alex sensed a conversation happening among the hidden dragons. They were debating whether to flee again or make one final stand. Most wanted to disappear back into the dark spaces between stars, preserving their species even if it meant abandoning any hope of partnership. But Pip had a different idea. Alex, the little dragon said through their mental connection. Pip show you secret. Dragons not just fix broken things. Dragons can wake sleeping things too. What do you mean? Pip projected another vision, this one showing the true scope of dragon biotechnology. They weren't just mechanics or healers. They were ecosystem engineers capable of awakening dormant potential in any technology or living system. A dragon-human partnership wouldn't just improve human tools. It would unlock capabilities that humans didn't even know they possessed. Show Coalition, Pip urged. Show all galaxy what humans can become with dragon friends. Alex understood. The Coalition expected humans to choose safety over principle, just like every other species had done for thousands of years. They would demand the dragons surrender and assume humanity would comply rather than face destruction. But what if humans chose differently? What if they showed the galaxy that some things were worth fighting for? Alex activated his personal communication link to Commander Brooks. Sir, I request permission to address the Coalition directly. Dr. Carter, this is not the time for scientific presentations, Brooks replied tersely. Sir, with respect, I believe I have information that could change the nature of these negotiations. The Coalition representative's image sharpened with interest. The human scientist wishes to speak. Perhaps he will be more reasonable than your military leader. Alex took a deep breath and stepped in front of the communication array. Behind him, Pip perched on his shoulder, tiny but clearly visible to the alien cameras. Honored representatives of the Coalition, Alex began, you have made an error in your classification of these creatures. They are not pests or parasites. They are partners offering humanity an evolutionary leap that could benefit the entire galaxy. The Coalition representative's black eyes narrowed dangerously. You have been contaminated by prolonged exposure to Void Dragon influence. Your judgment is compromised. My judgment is enhanced, Alex replied firmly. These dragons have shown me possibilities that your organization has spent millennia trying to suppress. Alex gestured to Pip, who began projecting holographic displays of their research results. The Coalition ship's sensors would detect everything. Enhanced human technology operating beyond known parameters, bioelectronic integration that surpassed anything in Coalition databases, evidence of a partnership that could reshape the balance of galactic power. This is what you really fear, Alex continued. Not the dragons themselves, but what they represent. The end of artificial scarcity. The end of technological stagnation. The end of your control over species that could become your equals or even your superiors. The Coalition representative's calm facade cracked slightly. You understand nothing, human. We maintain order. We prevent chaos. Your ignorant species would destroy itself with technologies it cannot comprehend. Or maybe, Alex said with growing confidence, we would grow beyond your ability to control us. Maybe that's what this is really about. Through his connection with Pip, Alex felt something he'd never experienced before. Every dragon in the galaxy was watching this moment. For the first time in thousands of years, a species was refusing to choose between dragons and the Coalition. Humanity was about to make a choice that would determine not just their own future, but the future of galactic civilization itself. Alex's hand shook as he activated the quantum relay to Earth Command. This message would travel faster than light across hundreds of systems to reach humanity's homeworld. Whatever he transmitted in the next few minutes would determine whether his species joined the galaxy as equals or slaves. The Coalition ships maintained their threatening positions around the station. Their ultimatum was clear: surrender the dragons within 1 hour or face complete destruction. Commander Brooks paced the command center like a caged animal, torn between protecting his people and defying the galaxy's most powerful organization, Earth Command. This is Dr. Alex Carter aboard Research Station Harmony. Alex spoke into the transmitter. I am sending you classified research data that will fundamentally change humanity's position in galactic politics. What I'm about to show you is worth more than our entire space program. Alex uploaded everything. Video recordings of Dragon biotechnology in action. Detailed scans of enhanced equipment that operated beyond human understanding. Most importantly, he transmitted Pip's visions of what human-dragon partnerships could achieve. Spaceships that healed themselves during battle. Colonies that adapted to hostile environments in real time. Human minds enhanced to process information at superhuman speeds. Technologies that grew and evolved instead of becoming obsolete. The dragons weren't offering to fix humanity's tools. They were offering to help humanity transcend its current limitations entirely. The reply from Earth came faster than Alex had expected. Director Sarah Martinez of Earth Command appeared on the screen, her expression grave but determined. Dr. Carter, we have reviewed your data. The implications are staggering. Are you certain these creatures pose no threat to human safety? More than certain, Director. They've been trying to help us from the moment they arrived. Every act of supposed vandalism was actually an improvement to our systems. They're refugees seeking partnership, not invaders seeking conquest. Director Martinez was quiet for a long moment. When she spoke again, her voice carried the weight of speaking for all humanity. Dr. Carter, Earth Command has reached a decision. We will not abandon potential allies to appease bullies, regardless of their galactic influence. Protect the dragons at all costs. Humanity stands with them. Alex felt a surge of pride in his species. When faced with the choice between safety and principle, humanity had chosen to do what was right instead of what was easy. The Coalition representative's image appeared on every screen throughout the station. His forearms gestured impatiently. Your hour is almost complete, humans. Have you prepared the Void Dragons for transfer? Commander Brooks stepped forward, his military bearing straight and proud. Coalition representative, after consulting with Earth Command, we must respectfully decline your demand. You refuse to surrender the creatures? We refuse to surrender our allies, Brooks replied firmly. These beings have committed no crimes against humanity. We will not participate in their execution. The Coalition representative's black eyes flashed with anger. Then you have chosen destruction over wisdom. Your species will be marked as contaminated and quarantined from galactic civilization permanently. But before the Coalition ships could open fire, something extraordinary happened. Pip and the other dragons throughout the station began glowing with bioelectric energy. Through Alex's enhanced connection, he felt them making a choice that would change everything. Instead of hiding or fleeing, the dragons were revealing their true capabilities for the first time in millennia. The station itself began to transform. Metal bulkheads flowed like liquid as dragon biotechnology integrated with human engineering. The hull sprouted organic armor that pulsed with living energy. Weapon systems grew from the station's surface, but these weren't crude human plasma cannons. These were biomechanical constructs that channeled pure electromagnetic force. Alex watched in amazement as Research Station Harmony evolved from a simple research outpost into something that belonged in the realm of legend. The dragons weren't just enhancing human technology. They were showing the galaxy what true partnership could accomplish. Through the station's upgraded sensors, Alex detected movement throughout the solar system. Other dragon colonies were emerging from hiding places in asteroid belts and gas giant atmospheres. They had been waiting, watching, hoping that one species would finally choose cooperation over fear. The Coalition ships opened fire, their weapons targeting the station's vital systems. But the enhanced bioarmor absorbed the energy blasts and converted them into power for the station's own defenses. When Harmony fired back, its weapons didn't destroy the Coalition vessels. Instead, they disabled them with surgical precision, leaving the crews alive but helpless. Impossible, the Coalition representative gasped as his flagship systems went offline. How do you possess such technology? We don't possess it, Alex replied through the station's communication system. We share it. There's a difference. Through his connection with Pip, Alex felt something even more incredible happening. The disabled Coalition ships weren't being left to drift in space. Dragons were extending tendrils of bioelectric energy toward them, offering to repair their damaged systems. Even after centuries of persecution, the dragons were still trying to help. Some of the Coalition crews accepted the aid. As dragon biotechnology began enhancing their ships, Alex sensed their growing wonder and understanding. They were experiencing what Alex had felt when he first truly communicated with Pip. The realization that everything they'd been told about dragons was a lie. Other Coalition ships tried to escape, but found their way blocked by vessels emerging from hyperspace. These weren't human ships or Coalition vessels. They were something entirely new. Dragon-enhanced craft piloted by species that had secretly maintained partnerships with hidden dragon colonies. The Coalition told us we were alone, transmitted one of the new arrivals. They said all dragon-allied species had been eliminated centuries ago. But some of us survived in secret, waiting for this moment. Alex realized he was witnessing the beginning of a galactic revolution. The Coalition's power had always been based on keeping species isolated and technologically limited. But dragons made that impossible. With their help, oppressed civilizations could rapidly advance beyond the Coalition's ability to control. The Coalition representative appeared on screen one final time, his composure completely shattered. You don't understand what you've done. Without our guidance, the galaxy will fall into chaos. Wars will rage between enhanced species. Entire systems will be destroyed, or maybe, Alex replied, species will finally be free to reach their full potential without artificial limitations. As if to prove his point, Pip projected a vision that reached every ship in the system. It showed a possible future where dragon partnerships had spread throughout the galaxy. Worlds that healed environmental damage in decades instead of centuries. Technologies that adapted to meet new challenges instead of becoming obsolete. Species working together as equals instead of oppressing each other. Dragons remember galaxy before Coalition, Pip explained through their mental link, was better time. Can be better time again. The vision faded, leaving in profound silence throughout the solar system. The Coalition ships that hadn't fled hung motionless in space, their crews struggling to process what they'd seen. Commander Brooks appeared beside Alex, his expression a mixture of awe and concern. Dr. Carter, I need to ask you something important. What happens now? We've essentially declared war on the galaxy's most powerful organization. Alex looked at Pip, who was glowing softly with contentment on his shoulder. Through their connection, he felt the presence of dragon colonies throughout the galaxy awakening from millennia of hiding. Species that had secretly maintained dragon partnerships were revealing themselves. The balance of galactic power was shifting in real time. Now we find out what humanity can become when we're not afraid to be extraordinary, Alex replied. Through the station's enhanced systems, he began transmitting a message to every inhabited system in the galaxy. It was time for the entire universe to learn the truth about dragons, the coalition, and the choice that every species would soon have to make. 6 months later, Alex stood on the observation deck of what used to be Research Station Harmony. The station had grown beyond recognition, transformed into a living city that pulsed with bioelectric energy. Organic towers spiraled upward like crystal trees, their surfaces glowing with the soft light of dragon biotechnology. Children played in gardens that existed in the vacuum of space, protected by living atmospheric barriers that dragons had grown around recreational areas. Human and dragon younglings chased each other through corridors that adapted their lighting and temperature to whoever passed through them. Pip had grown too. No longer the tiny creature Alex had rescued from extermination, the dragon was now the size of a house cat, its golden scales brilliant in the artificial sunlight. But more than its physical growth, Pip had developed into something Alex had never expected. A teacher, a friend, and humanity's first official ambassador to the Galactic Dragon Network. Alex happy with changes? Pip asked through their mental connection, which had evolved far beyond simple translation. They could share complex thoughts, emotions, and even memories with perfect clarity. Sometimes I can barely believe it's real, Alex replied, watching a human child ride on the back of a young dragon as they glided between the station's towers. The transformation hadn't been limited to their single station. Once Alex's message had spread throughout the galaxy, everything changed with shocking speed. Species that had secretly harbored dragon refugees revealed themselves. Hidden colonies emerged from asteroid belts and rogue planets where they'd been hiding for centuries. The Coalition's power structure collapsed almost overnight. Their authority had been built on controlling technology and maintaining artificial scarcity. When dragons began openly partnering with species throughout the galaxy, that control became impossible to maintain. Some Coalition members fought to preserve the old order. Brief conflicts flared across several systems as hardline factions tried to destroy dragon-enhanced colonies before they could spread their influence. But dragon biotechnology made such attacks futile. Ships that could repair themselves during battle, planetary defenses that evolved in real time, and communication networks that couldn't be disrupted made traditional warfare obsolete. More importantly, many Coalition species chose to abandon their leadership and seek dragon partnerships themselves. When your enemies could offer you technological advancement beyond your wildest dreams, conquest became less appealing than cooperation. Alex had been appointed as Earth's first xenobiological integration specialist, a job title that hadn't existed before dragons entered human space. His work involved helping other species establish their own dragon partnerships while ensuring that human colonies maintained their relationships with their dragon allies. Dr. Lilly Ross had become the director of biotechnological research, overseeing projects that seemed like magic to anyone from Alex's original time period. Human ships could now travel between star systems in days instead of months. Colony worlds could terraform themselves by integrating dragon biotechnology with local ecosystems. Even individual humans could enhance their cognitive abilities through carefully controlled bioelectric symbiosis. But the most profound change wasn't technological. It was philosophical. Look at that, Alex said, pointing toward a section of the station where representatives from dozens of species were working together on some kind of construction project. Species that had been enemies for millennia were collaborating as equals. The Hegemony Coalition had been replaced by something called the Symbiotic Alliance, a loose confederation of dragon-partnered civilizations that shared knowledge and resources freely. Dragons always knew this was possible, Pip explained. Species work better together than apart. But Coalition made everyone afraid of cooperation. Alex nodded, remembering his first encounter with Pip. The tiny dragon had been terrified, expecting to be killed like so many of its kind before. Now dragons and their partners were building something unprecedented in galactic history. A civilization based on mutual enhancement rather than domination. Through the station's bio-neural networks, Alex received an incoming transmission from Earth. Director Martinez appeared on the organic display screens that had grown from the walls themselves. "Alex, I wanted to give you a personal update on the integration progress," she said, her image crystal clear despite being transmitted across hundreds of light years. "The Dragon Partnership Program has exceeded every projection we made. Human colonies are reporting technological capabilities we couldn't have imagined 5 years ago." Alex smiled. "Any problems with the integration process?" "Surprisingly few. The dragons seem to have an intuitive understanding of what each species needs to grow safely. They're not just enhancing our technology, they're helping us become better versions of ourselves." That was the aspect of dragon partnership that Alex found most remarkable. The creatures didn't impose their own agenda on their allies. Instead, they helped each species reach its unique potential. Humans became more adaptable and creative. Other species developed their own distinctive strengths. The galaxy was becoming more diverse, not more uniform. After the transmission ended, Alex made his way to his favorite spot on the station. It was a small alcove that Pip had grown for him, perfectly sized for quiet contemplation. Through the transparent biometal walls, he could see the stars and the dozens of ships that came and went daily from their transformed station. Representatives from across the galaxy came to study human-dragon integration. Some sought their own partnerships. Others simply wanted to understand how a species could change so dramatically in such a short time. "Do you ever regret it?" Alex asked Pip, who was curled up beside him in a patch of warm bioluminescent moss. "Revealing yourselves to the galaxy again?" Pip's response came colored with deep contentment. "Dragons spent too long hiding. Better to risk everything for chance at friendship than stay safe and alone forever." Alex thought about his own transformation. 6 months ago, he'd been a struggling xenobiologist on a remote research station. Now he was helping to reshape galactic civilization. The change should have been overwhelming, but dragon biotechnology had enhanced his own cognitive abilities. He could process complex information and adapt to new situations in ways that would have been impossible for his unenhanced self. "There's something I've been meaning to ask you," Alex said. "That first day when I found you in the agricultural bay, you could have escaped easily. Why did you let me capture you?" Pip's eyes sparkled with what Alex had learned to recognize as dragon amusement. "Pip not captured. Pip chose Alex. Chose me for what? Dragons can sense potential in other beings. Alex had potential for friendship, for understanding. Most humans would have killed Pip without thinking. But Alex chose curiosity over fear. Alex felt a warmth that had nothing to do with the bioluminescent moss. "So you were testing me?" "All first contacts are tests," Pip replied. Dragons needed to know if humans could choose partnership over domination. Alex proved humans could. A soft chime indicated an incoming priority transmission. The image that appeared showed a sleek spacecraft approaching the station. But this wasn't any ship Alex recognized. Its hull seemed to shift and flow like liquid metal, and it radiated energy signatures unlike anything in Coalition databases. "Unknown vessel. This is New Harmony Station," Alex transmitted using the bio-neural communication system. "Please identify yourself." The response came in a voice that sounded ancient beyond measure. "This is Keeper Eternus of the Deep Archive. We come seeking the humans who chose dragons over safety." Alex felt Pip's excitement spike through their mental connection. "Deep Archive dragons. Alex, these are the oldest of all dragon colonies. They have been sleeping in dark space for millions of years." The implications hit Alex like a physical blow. If ancient dragon colonies were awakening, it meant the changes spreading across the galaxy were even more significant than anyone had realized. As the Deep Archive ship docked with the station, Alex understood that humanity's story with dragons was just beginning. They had passed the first test by choosing cooperation over fear. Now they would discover what other secrets the galaxy held for species brave enough to embrace the unknown. Standing beside his small friend who had grown into so much more, Alex realized that the title of his story had been wrong from the beginning. He hadn't tamed a tiny dragon. Instead, a tiny dragon had taught him that some bonds transcend species, fear, and even the vast distances between stars. What happened next wasn't just going to leave him speechless. It was going to reshape what it meant to be human in a galaxy full of infinite possibilities. Pip chirped softly, sharing a vision of the future that made Alex's enhanced mind reel with wonder. Dragons and humans, working together to awaken sleeping technologies hidden throughout the galaxy, ancient archives containing knowledge that could transform entire civilizations. The discovery that dragons themselves were just the beginning of something far grander than anyone had imagined. Alex looked out at the stars and smiled. The adventure was just beginning.